All right. Hello, I am Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to another episode of 360 and Me with Mimosas and Conversations, where we have conversations on some of our favorite and not so favorite topics. And today I got my girl with me, Miss Natalie Montez. Hey, girl, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, and welcome. Cheers to you, darling.
Oh, yes.
Well, today we are going to be talking about part 2 of the video fear conversation. I just had a conversation a few weeks ago with one of my other girls, Miss Wandra Kane, who is the owner of WCA Interiors. And it's amazing how two people can have the same conversation on one topic, and all of us have different perspectives of what it means about video fear. So today, me and Natalie, we're going to chat it up here.
Oh, yeah, girl.
There's
so much to talk about.
Girl, I can't wait, because you've been busting at the seams you've been wanting to talk about this for weeks. I'm like, no, save it.
Yes,
So today,
I know. This is going to be a great conversation because everybody experiences it in such a different way, and it comes from different places. And then you develop it in different ways, and then you don't know where it came from, and all of a sudden you just don't know where the anxiety is coming from.
Right. And that's the key. And that's the beauty about having conversations, right? Is that it's amazing how, like you said, we can talk about certain things, but it affects us all differently. And so it's always great to be able to share those experiences and talk about it, because we all know that there's somebody else out there just like us. But because we have this fear, we don't want to talk about it. You know, we kind of hold on to it, but then that anxiety catches up with you. And then guess what? You're going to literally bust at the seams, and then things are going to be worse than what they really need to be. So that's why you and I are having our conversation, because I am just so ready to hear your perspective of what it means to have that video fear. And I'm going to back up just a little bit, because I want people to understand that when I did this conversation a few weeks ago, I never realized how scared my friend was about doing videos. I thought I was scared, but I never really understood how much trauma it provided to her, and how the differences between what we do and me, and that I'm used to being behind the mic, being a podcaster and all that. It is so much easier for me to just sit back and talk to people in that manner. And a big part of it was because I didn't want people to see how I look, and have to be judged constantly all the time. And then they're not really listening to what we're really saying, because they're so busy viewing how we look. And so to hear your perspective of this is going to be even more eye-opening. So now we just dive in, girl. Tell me what it is. Talk to me about all of this, because I'm trying to understand what your fears. I mean, you are an amazing woman. You are retired from the Air Force. You have all these amazing things going on with you in business, but we never get to see that beautiful face of yours. I'm the only one that can see it because I know you, and we'll get into that soon enough too, girl.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me on for Mimosas and Conversations. And I will tell you to start off with that, thank God for this, a little bit of, alcohol courage, because I do have so much fear. And my fear manifests itself physically in jitters, sweating, numbness in the fingertips. I mean, it is crazy. Wow. The physiological things that actually happen when I know I'm gonna do a video, and thinking about actually doing the video, you know what I mean? Preparing for the video, all of that stuff. And what you said was true. It's mainly about what you think people are gonna think about you, which is really your own issue, because most of the time that's false. People are not judging what I'm looking like. People are not looking at just what I wore for that day or what my hair looks like. Really, they're not. They want to hear what I have to say. Most people are pretty kind and not listening to you for that purpose. They're listening to you to get some value, some information. So that part is something I have to get over. But I feel like my fear comes from trauma from way back, not feeling good enough, or not being encouraged and empowered enough as a young girl, going through all the things in life that a lot of people go through, to where you grow up feeling like you're not enough, and that you're going to be judged, and that you're going to fail, and all of these different things, or that you're not smart enough to even be talking about this topic, just all of those things. But, I know in my logical mind that preparation is key, and I'm always prepared. I'm passionate about the topics I talk about, so I'm qualified really to talk about them. And then it also manifests in different areas of your life. So when I started working for you, for example, as your virtual assistant, I had no problem going out there and reaching out to people and doing this and saying, you know, this is who Kimberly McLemore is. And she's, you know, and we're trying to get on your show, just, you know, all these different things. But when it came to myself, I couldn't do it. So I really had to like think about like, okay, I'm doing this for Kimberly. I can do it for myself too. It's really the same thing. And then I was also in my 20-year career, I was an instructor. I taught, I was a supervisor. I had to, you know, do feedback sessions, counseling sessions, empowering sessions. I had to teach entire classes on all different scales and many like audiences. And I was an expert on my topic. So it is very interesting how all of that kind of shifts over. And now that I'm doing my health and wellness business, I need to start doing video content on social media. I think it's that social media thing. It's like scary.
Right. And it is. And I think a big part of it is because we live in a world that's based on nothing but technologies. We're in a virtual world. We have been for a while. And then of course, when the pandemic hit, everything went that direction. And you started seeing people had to pivot themselves, and they had to start doing things in a way that we would not normally had to worry about doing, because it's one thing, it's so different from doing a video versus actually standing in front of somebody. And like you said, when you're an instructor or, you know, you're standing and talking to people, it's just a whole different perspective, because you don't have to worry about thousands of other people looking at you. You're only dealing with those people that are standing in front of you during that time frame that you're presenting whatever it is that you're presenting. But, you know, and I listened to you talk about how you have the shakes and the jitters and you sweating. Girl, I'm like, wait a minute now. This can't be my little Natalie, because my Natalie is the most powerful thing. Look, people, I'm telling y'all, I love Natalie. I'm so thankful that I brought her on as my virtual assistant, because this girl has saved me, okay, from trying to kill myself, dealing with these crazy people we got to deal with every day. So it's like, you know, when you hear those things, I just sit back and I'm thinking, wow, I just never could imagine, because I know I'm fearful of it too. But I have found myself that when being your authentic self has helped tremendously for me to get through and start doing these videos, you know, now that, and that's the thing. Right. And I think for you, when I see you on video, the few times I have seen you do it with the new business stuff that you have, I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about, because she looked perfectly fine. So I guess you've gone through this process way before you start talking. But when you are you glow. Everything comes out to be perfect, the way it's supposed to be, the way it's supposed to align. And I think that's where the problem is that, you know, it's one thing if you're a large company and you have people who are there to make you look great, you know, all you got to do is show up and that's it. But we're small companies and small businesses where, you know, we have to get the word out. We have to share who we are. And for the first time in my business, and even after many years before coming here, I've been here in the DC area for 16 years. I never have done videos like this. I've done a few here or there. And I was like, well, shoot, ain't nobody even looking at my little videos. You know, I'm like, nobody's hearing anything I got to say. And I just like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. And I went back to just doing what I had been doing. But then I realized that today's world we live in, it's all about being out there, you know, but the worst part for me is now I don't care about how many likes I get, but I want to make sure that the content that I'm providing is valuable and it conveys over in a way that people are truly hearing what I'm saying and learning something from it, versus just getting on there blibber blabbing, because there's a whole lot of people that's getting on here. You know, you got the TikTok and everybody dancing and doing a little thing. I'm like, girl, I don't even know how to use TikTok. Okay.
Me neither. I don't know how to use half the stuff out there. And I don't have, like you said, I don't have a team behind me editing my stuff and, you know, doing all of that. And I love what you said about authenticity, because I'm learning how to get back to my authentic self after going through a whole bunch of transitions, toxic relationships. All of these stuff really take you out of your game and out of your courageous mindset and like being confident about yourself. So I'm over the last 6 months, I've been learning how to do that. And you've been like a huge help. Well, first of all, I've been watching you for years. We've been friends for years, but Even when I was off the scene, I was paying attention because you have so much value to offer people in growth, whether it's personal development growth or whether it's business growth. And I know that one of the biggest things you and I have in common is our entrepreneurial mindset. So I knew, and I know that I have this big, thing inside of me that wants to just reach out. And so the authenticity piece is helpful because with the videos, you are building relationships and you're making it personable. So that's why I think it was important for you to bring videos and showing your personality that way back into it. And that's what I'm trying to do in a consistent and authentic way in the area of business that I'm in. And so getting to that level is where I think my confidence and the fear will start to break away, and I'll just be able to do it,
Right.
So
and the key, and you are. And the key is that you just have to keep doing it. You know, the more you practice it, the more you do. And what I'm learning now that, I've started this new series is that I literally will sit down at least once a week and try to do 1 or 2 videos. I'll take a Saturday or a Sunday and I'll like, you know what? I've got a couple hours. I'm going to sit down here. I'm going to do this video. And the beauty about doing these videos is that, like you said, you understand your topics. You know who you are. Yeah. You got the background to discuss whatever it is you plan on discussing. Like I always tell you, I love it, girl. Your wine business. Oh my God, people, I'm telling you, you have no clue. I've never met anybody who knows wine and whiskey and cigars like you. I mean, it's crazy. So the thing that doing videos, it is all about sitting down and doing the topics that you love. Right. And, I'm finally coming out of my shell and decided, I've done so much for everybody else and to help them catapult their lives and their businesses so they can explode, being on the podcast show, internationally and talking to people all over the country. And I had to sit back and think that, people know me, but they really don't know who I am. Yeah. They don't know anything personally about me. They only know the business side of me. And all of it was kind of one of these things where I would constantly fight with myself about it. How am I going to get myself out there? It's great to do the podcast shows and everything and being on other people's platforms. And, you have helped me tremendously with that this year because that was something I hadn't been doing because I've been so busy dealing with everybody else. I don't deal with myself. And then finally, even my son has been like, hey, Mom, come on, you got to start doing videos. So he's the one who went out and bought me all my equipment. He's like, there are no more excuses. You can do what you need to do. Just do it. And then the next thing I know, even talking to you when we talk weekly, I mean, literally, I just start flowing out all this information and ideas that just start coming out of my head just with the matter of seconds. Yeah. And I visually have to see what it is I'm doing before I can actually sit down and do the video. And I find if you're not in that realm or kind of perspective, that if you're not visually seeing it ahead of time, then that means that's something that you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Right. So you've got what it takes. And like I said, you got the great spirit and the bubbliness. But the one thing I noticed too that me and you have also in common is that we're prior military. So that military background never goes away. Yes. We're constantly kind of strategic and everything has to be a certain way. But that's when you have to learn that, what, I'm no longer in the military. Not everybody's going to understand that portion and that background of who I am. So you have to really learn how to be just who you are and take some of that out just to show who your authenticity is, because it's very difficult. I was in the military for 15 years. And after 10 years of being out of it, girl, I'm still to this day, make my bed the same way I was making when I was in the military.
Yeah, I know so many things you can't let go of, like being 15 minutes early to everything. And people are like, why are you here?
Right.
Like, you need to stand outside. But that the leadership aspect of it, I heard you recently speaking about leadership on one of your shows. And it made me really think about how that transitions over not only to the civilian sector from military leadership, but also into your own businesses and how because you were talking about how like you just take charge and you're all about, I have a separation where in my military career, I took charge. I was the go-to person for decision making and all this stuff. And then out here, I'm more like, you know what I mean? And so again, I think that has to do with getting to know my authentic me again, and also my niche, like figuring out and being confident and having that courage and feeling free to just express myself and not care, just go out and do it. If I make a little mistake, oh, well, I should really put together, I was just thinking about this. We should put together like a bloopers video of all the retakes.
Girl, that would probably be the top-notch video of the year. Okay. Nobody would care about anything else that we're saying, but those bloopers, because it shows the reality. And like you were saying, that just listening to some of the things I say, and I literally will go back sometimes and just review and listen to some of the things I talk about with other people, or go back and review my own words in the books that I've written, because I need that encouragement just like everybody else does. And a lot of times when people lean so hard on you per se, people are constantly leaning on me. So I have to find that space where I can lean on something else or someone else. And there's not too many times I can do that. It's literally, I can count on 2 or 3 fingers of the people that I know that I can actually lean on when I need that, because so much of that pressure is put on people like us who, when you have a certain type of knowledge and certain type of background. And then of course, we have to remember we've done this to ourselves, because when you're in business, this is a part of the process. Right. And when you're good at what it is that you're doing, it really does. It'll come out, and people will lean on you to help them get through whatever it is that they're going through in their own lives. But when you're focusing back on yourself, that's when you start to realize that there's so much more going on personally with ourselves that we have to really, take care of in it. And like I said, I started to realize that even though I may be, the smartest person in the room, so to speak, at that moment, there's so many things that I needed to do. But when you were talking about, you were listening to one of my shows, I think if I'm correct, is where I had made a statement on one of the shows where I'm the type of person, I'm a leader. I can't follow you. It's just whatever that is, it's been embedded in me from the time I've been brought into this world. And a big part of it is because my family are leaders. And, I have a father who's been in business for more than 50 something years. It's been 53 years. And I'm kind of, out of the 2 of us kids, I'm one of the kids who constantly loves business. So, but we were always brought up to lead. And there's nothing wrong with being a follower to an extent, but if you can't lead your own path, then there's something wrong. You can't always depend on other people to help you arrive to wherever it is you need to arrive. Yes, we learn from others, because that's how everything works in life, going to school, all of that, because, you can't learn, you don't have all the answers, but there comes a certain point in your life where you have to kind of decide, what are you going to lead yourself into? And then of course we have children, your children are a little younger, and obviously my son is grown, but every single day they look at us as leaders, and their eyesight, we are the best things that ever have come to them. Mm-hmm. So we're constantly being challenged personally, professionally, independently, all of it. And so
in the community.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's one of those things where, when you believe in yourself, it's okay. And it's then to know that every day you're supposed to be growing. So if you're constantly stagnated, you're never gonna get out of this thing of fear if you're constantly stuck. Right. And you, like say, what you're doing. There's never that issue. And I love how when we do talk, you were showing me earlier before we started the conversation that, hey, look, I got my packet here. I got all the equipment you told me to get. That's start number 1. That is the best thing to do, is realizing that you've made another step.
Yes.
To perfect what it is that you're working on.
And taking those actionable steps are important. Now, you can also get stagnant there, because I have noticed something in my personality that can tend to do all the things that are easy, like go to the store and buy something, but then, sign up for all this stuff, do all this, and then don't do anything with it, so you have to be careful that when you do it, you have to have a plan, and you have to take the next step. You have to give yourself a time frame to take the next step. And so that's why I have now been putting out a little more videos here and there and trying to get, and then like you said, reviewing them and seeing what I can do better, because that's a way that I can like alleviate the worry of what do other people think. I can watch it back. Because before, when I first started, I would not watch my own video. I was like, I will not watch it. It was too gut wrenching to me. I was like,
well, but and it's funny because, we do the same. I've done the same thing. I can remember when I think about when I first do a podcast and my very first show. Now I've been doing podcasts for 5 years. And so I went back to my very first show. My first interview, my son was interviewing me. And I was like, I don't see how anybody would listen to that crap. I mean, it was hilarious. I realized where I started and how far I've come. And I never realized how scared I was on that first day of trying to do a podcast. Cause podcasting 5 years ago was definitely not the same as it is today. You really had to earn your spot, being on a show and being on a platform. And I mean, I was freaking out. I was like, Lord, if anybody is listening to this stuff, I hope they don't just cut me off completely. Cause it was the craziest moment. So it's no different than, I had to realize it's really not that much different than what we're doing now when it comes to video. I mean, right now we're having a major conversation about video fear, and here you're on video. Yeah. And that's like the first step. It's always taking those steps that you need to take in order to realize that if you want to make it perfection, you have to constantly go to it. You have to constantly work with it, because it's not going to come overnight. For some people, they grade their overnight successes. They know what they're doing. They're up there doing their thing. But I think for a lot of us who are, and I'm gonna say for me personally, I'm a little older. I'm in my mid 50s. So my mindset and attitude is a lot different than I was when I was 20, 30, or 40.
Right.
So the things that I want to talk about, the things I want to do, they're not going to be the same. But I also realize that, people don't realize I have a personality. I am definitely more than just my business. And I'm excited now that I can share these moments, with people in a different way.
Yeah. And you can tell that you're able to be your authentic self and just have fun with that, Mm-hmm. So that's the one thing I need to both shed and build up is the fun aspect of it, of being my authentic self. I can still be professional, but I can show my personality. I can have fun with it. I can let my hair down and, get into it a little bit and be more personable instead of being rigid and like, following a script, so to speak, and all this stuff, because that's what we were used to in the military, like having your notes, following your meeting minutes, following time limit, time crunch, just all this stuff. And it's
right. Exactly. And then when we didn't do it right, we were punished for that,
Yes.
So we're used to being told, if you're not on your A game, this is what's going to happen to you. Where the reality is that we're not on anybody else's on their platform. We're on our own, and that's the beauty about it. You can absolutely be who you are, and whether people like it or not, I'll be like, whatever. I don't care if I ever see you. You ain't got to comment on it. If you don't like it, stop watching it. Right. I mean, so that's the reality of, doing this and realizing that you are completely in control. Yeah. And when you realize you're completely in control, that's when everything absolutely becomes much easier, to do.
Yeah, that's so true. I love it because it's making me feel really, I get these like bursts of energy when I'm listening to you talk or having a conversation with you, and we're like brainstorming and being creative. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to go out in the world and tackle all the things and do all the things.
Yeah, because girl, look, everybody don't know, look, we have our weekly meetings. We get to the meeting, we might have 10 minutes of the meeting and the rest of it is the whole world we're trying to resolve in, one day, right? So,
but you're so good about breaking things down into actionable steps. And because I start looking at that and I am like, oh my gosh, this is too big, too much. You have to take small chunks to get to the overall goal. And I know this in my head. It's like, sometimes I get like, deer in the headlights, like, oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. But when you break it down and you have your spreadsheets and everything, and we can go through that. And I'm like, this is all right. This week, this is what we're working on. This week, this is what we're working on. And to see what we've come from like where we've come in the last, I don't know, 6 months since we've been doing a little bit of transition,
right?
Changing things up, and we've come a long way.
Exactly.
In a short period of time.
Exactly. And what I had learned too is that, I had to start taking things off my plate. It was just too much. And, a lot of people don't realize that, even though I'm in business, I still work, full time. So I work as a part of the government, and I'm on travel constantly as a contractor. And, so I'm trying to live in two different worlds all the time. Yeah. And so when you start to realize, they always say in business, I to outsource. If it's something you don't have time to do, you have to absolutely know what to take off your plate. And having you has, like I said, has been above and beyond a blessing. And a big part, I think, a lot of times when we're talking about fear, just in general, that as business owners, we know that this is our baby. We have developed this. This is something that is meaningful to us. And when you have to start to share some of what we're doing with other people, you have to do, the trust has to be there. Yeah. And I've been burnt on more than one occasion the last 5 years. I've had to recreate my business in a way to where it's not just beneficial for other people, but beneficial for me too. And a big part of having somebody on board that you can trust is the most important part of it, because we all know, you sometimes run into people you think that are on your side, and then you realize they all out for them, and they're stealing what you're doing, or they're not doing what they said they're gonna do, and you've paid for it. Girl, I have been through the ringer, okay? And I'm like, I said, so thankful for you, because I know your spirit, I know who you are, and that is the most important part when it comes to building a business, that you have to depend on people. That is the reality of it. When our business are getting paid, people are buying our products or services, we are constantly depending on individuals. But you always are going to run into those people who feel like they can outdo you in a way that's completely inappropriate and disrespectful. And it brings us right back to what we've been trying to get out of. And that's this thing called fear, right? This is the thing that we have been dealing with for years. So then when we've decided to do this video thing, when I had talked to you about my new series, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this because it's time. And having you there to help me get through this process, like I said, I have just been totally blessed. Because
it's so fun for me, because again, this was an area where I struggled, and it was an area that kind of crossed over into my business from your business, back and forth. Yep. that I'm sort of like, experiencing on both sides. So I'm like, okay, this is really helping me. And I have great mentors on my health and wellness business side as well, who, and I can watch them and I can learn from people who've been doing it for a long time. They do these videos and they know what they're talking about, but they're not perfect either,
Right.
And so with us doing this and me trying to do that on that side and being able to merge some of that, I think, one saying that I heard a long time ago, which I really believe is true, is practice makes permanent. So instead of saying practice makes perfect, because we're human, we are not going to be perfect at all times. So, and what is perfection? That's a moving target, right? So practice making permanent, I feel like, is more relevant here, because the more you do it, what it does is breaks away those fears and all of those unknowns that are hanging you up. Because that's what I go through every single time, is I have to literally like put on some power music, pump myself up. I got Fergie Ferg going.
Hey, but you know what? But that's okay, because if that's what it takes for you to move forward and doing what you want to do, that's the best thing. Because one thing I have learned, I think I had made a statement about this a couple weeks ago in one of my posts, where people are constantly telling you how to do things, and they'll push all their identity and all their ideas on you. But the reality is, it's you can listen and learn, but nobody is going to know what to do better than you, because it's yours. Right. It's your business. It's your purpose. It's your service, whatever your products, whatever it is that you have. That's the number one thing that we have to remember being in business. And whether, even if it's not a business, even personal, you can give all the advice that you want to give, but at the end of the day, you are still the only one who can make this happen. And it has to be your ideas. And that's the key. You know, a lot of people, I get so sick and tired of, well, you need to do it this way and you need to do this and that. And this is what worked for me. And next thing you know, like you say, you done bought every damn thing and you're spending all these hundreds of dollars and thousands of dollars, and you ain't no further than where you were 5 minutes ago, So that is the key, is that until you can understand how to make it your own, you're going to constantly struggle. And then of course too, if you don't learn to evolve and learn that you have to grow and change, you're going to constantly struggle. You're going to constantly be stagnant. You're never going to move ahead the way that you want to. So what you're going through is your personal journey, and it's okay to go through that personal journey the way that you are. But the key is that as you're going through that journey, it's coming out on the other side, and
hit the nugget, hit the golden nugget right there.
Yep. The
fireside right here. I think you just hit it for me, because I need to finally just take hold of my path, my goals, my dream, where I want to go and how I want to do it. And I need to just own that. I need to soak up all the empowerment and encouragement that is around me, because I do have it. I have had so much support. I cannot even complain or say that I've been alone or haven't had support, because I have, on the personal side and the professional side. I mean, from day one, way back in, 2013, 14, you and I started hanging out and working together and building our businesses. And, you were already handing me business plans, and here's how you get started and things like that. So I have always had the support. I just haven't grabbed hold and really pulled myself up and forward and launched, and taken off. Mm-hmm. I've just kind of stepped here, stepped there, stepped here, stepped there, and watched everyone else kind of soar past me. And I'm like, hey.
Well, and I think a big part of it too, Natalie, is that what you have to realize is that you don't have to just stick to one thing.
Yeah.
You can do everything that you have your capabilities in. You are great. Like I said earlier, I was talking about you with the wine, with whiskey, cigars. I mean, the knowledge that you have, it just blows my mind. I mean, I'm telling y'all, when you did the wine party at my house, remember that was how many years ago? And then I came to your house and you did a wine party there. The knowledge of how you would break things down, where the wine, what country it came from, you could tell how it smelled and whether it was a leaf in there. I never seen anybody in my life break down wine in the aspect, because I love drinking some wine, but I don't go that far with it. All I care is that, I know how to swish it in, the glass and smell it and then drink it. Okay. But I said, what in the world? Where'd this girl come from?
Well, don't you worry, Kimberly, because I will be extending the vine in my own series soon. And I will be bringing that to either 360 and Me with you, or my own channel. That's going to be, pretty fun. So I'm excited. I'm preparing for that now. I'm really excited. I'm just working through these video fears, and this conversation is perfect for that. Perfect for that.
And the thing that's important too about videos, one thing I've learned is that even, when you're by yourself, you're literally having a conversation with yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that you have to break down and grow and learn when you're putting together a video, is that you have to literally pretend that there's somebody out there. So, you may think you're crazy at the end, but it's okay. It all works out.
I think that's why I struggle with the recordings when I'm doing it by myself, because I just messing up, stop, start, stop. But when I'm doing a live, I just have to go with it. I just have to go.
Right. But so when you're recording, think that you're doing a live.
Yeah.
Just change the mindset. Yeah. And that's really all it is because when you're recording, you have to learn how to present yourself as if you are truly talking to somebody on the other end. Right. And you got to remember, they're not going to answer you back. Right. So you got to be able to keep that flow going, realize that, and it's no different than when you're doing your live videos. When you're doing those live videos, nobody's answering you back. You're literally having a conversation with the people out there that are actually going to eventually watch it. But at the end of the day, it's just realizing that, hey, it's just another video. I'm here sharing my story. I'm here sharing my services. I'm here sharing my products. Yeah. I'm just here sharing. Whether you take it or not, girl, you can't make it about them. Right. You can't worry about them. It's all about what you are doing. And that's the key.
I can't get hung up on all these young people out there who know how to put music to their videos and do all these, fast, like fast forwarding. And I'm like, right. Oh, cool. I want to do that.
Well, but you know what too? And now you're talking a little bit about the technology side of it, the technical portion of it. You have an iPhone, girl, let me tell you, I hate iPhones, iPhones. I was an Android girl, 199.9%, literally.
Me too.
And then I finally got to the point where my phone that I probably had this phone, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years. It finally died, and I had to start making decisions because I couldn't keep it plugged up 24/7 or for it to work, right? Because the battery was dying. So I said, okay, I have a government iPhone, and I started to use it, but I never really knew how to use it. I just did what I had to do with it. And I said, well, you know what? This isn't too bad. But that's when I said, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to go ahead and purchase my new iPhone, because I was learning that the Androids are becoming just like the iPhone. And to be honest with you, nobody can do it like iPhone. Yeah. And iPhones have so much great technology. So when you're doing your videos, they have the iMovie, which is where you can edit. And right in the iMovie, I didn't realize how easy it was going to be. It takes a little time to edit, but I found it was easier for me to do it on iMovie than it is for me to pull up another app or another platform of software, on the computers. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't use this. But doing it on your iPhone, it just takes the time. Take a little practice video and just take that video, upload it into iMovie, and just start making the change, the editing. I mean, it amazed me how you can splice a picture, you can throw a picture in there, you can put the text in there, and you can do it all on your phone. So I've learned very quickly to do that. So girl, I'm telling you, you just have to practice, and you can become a pro at this overnight, because I literally have learned this overnight.
I have the same story. Moving back from Australia, I had to get rid of my Android phone. And I just decided to get an Apple because we were at the store getting my daughters, and they were like, well, this one's free. It's an older version. But I was like, okay. So I got it. And then I was like miserable because I did not know how to use this thing. But I have my daughter, my 13-year-old daughter is like my built-in tech support.
Right.
And she's an iMovie queen. So now that she's back from the summer vacation, she's going to help me. And we're going to just I'm going to learn all these things. And I'm going to have her help me do a video. She can be my audience. And then we'll just show me how to edit it and everything. And it's so funny that we have to have our young children helping us through all this.
Oh, I know. Because I'd be like, son, can you help me out? Like, say he grown man. He'd be like, Mom, really? He's like, you got to figure this stuff out. I'm going to show you, but then you need to figure. He said, I've been trying to get you to change over to iPhone for more than 7 years, probably last 10. He said, finally, you figured it out. And it's even funny because I've even learned that using the iPhone, when you do an Instagram live video, it does not work with Android anymore. I learned that by accident. I was being interviewed on another program with some ladies, and at the last minute, we could not figure out what was going on. We couldn't download the app on our computers or anything. And that's when we discovered we were literally late trying to figure out what the heck was going on with Instagram. And that's when we discovered that you have to have an iPhone in order to do your Instagram videos.
Wow.
Yep. They had upgraded it that particular day where we couldn't use our laptop or anything. And we were just panicking, trying to get through it. And I was like, okay, well, this is the first time I'm going to be using it on IG, because I don't normally do videos on IG. I just upload whatever if I need to upload something real quick, but I do it from my laptop. But that was when we learned it, when you were doing live, that you had at that point had to use an iPhone. So there's so many different things when it comes to technology, and it changes so fast. You have to be on top of it, especially if you're doing things like what we do with the videos now, the video series and stuff. You really do have to understand what you need to have. And then since we're talking again about having products and stuff to make your videos, well, I love the ring light, and I got my.
Ooh, I like that. I've heard of that one. I've heard that it is fabulous. So is this a floor, like a tall version?
It goes from the floor all the way up. It has different levels. Okay. And that's the thing I love about the ring light. I mean, this product really can do everything. You don't even need both. Like, when I have the product, you have two, so I have two. So when I travel, but then I realized that when you open up the box itself, that the O-ring is in a really small box. The O-ring is not real glass. It's a LED light, which makes it even nicer. It has every little thing you can do, every little piece that you need to have to make your videos really nice. And then the other thing I love about it, it has this amazing little control button here. And so guess what? When I'm doing my videos, it's Bluetooth ran, connects with your phone, and I can stop and start my videos without having to get up and move.
I know. And you like put your arm in there to like.
Yes, exactly. And look, I didn't even realize I had that in here. There's so many little pieces in here. I hadn't had the opportunity to actually even go through everything. And when I was doing my videos, my son was like, well, Mom, you didn't know that was what that was for? I was like, no, I didn't know. So he said, when are you going to start using all your products? So, you have to go through and just pull out all the little pieces that come with it. But it is the best thing they ever came out with. The stand itself is very sturdy and professional. Right now, talking to you here in my living room and my family room area, I've literally got my stand sitting on my coffee table.
Wow.
And so it is just awesome that I can move it anywhere in this house, and I can be able to utilize the tool the way that, that I want. So
yes,
I think the only drawback that I found with it is that the O-ring has to be plugged in. So if you're not plugging it in through a laptop, or you can plug it in through any other resource outlet, in order for it to come on. That's the only thing I hadn't figured out. Well, why is this that doesn't work without having to be plugged in?
Because then you have to be close to an outlet when you're doing your
Yeah. So I definitely make sure, of course, that I have the extension cord. So, if you're in an area that you're not close to, definitely want to make sure you have that, because the O-ring light is what makes the videos themselves stand out. You have the perfect lighting, and it keeps it looking professional. The other thing that I love that I did go out and buy separately and is having a good set of microphones. Power DeWise is the name of this company. Love these microphones, because these particular microphones come with an extension as well. So you can get two microphones, two extensions. The thing that's great about it, so if you're doing a video and you're not sitting close enough to talk to hear yourself, you can plug this in right in your phone very easily. Now, the only thing, of course, if you have an iPhone, you have to have this little piece right here.
Yeah.
A little extension.
Okay.
So that you have to buy separately. But otherwise, like I said, the whole packet comes with these great little clip-on microphones, so you sound much more professional. And then if you want to stand up somewhere, it gives you another. So you have 6 foot on the main microphone, and then you have another 6 foot extension you can connect, so that you can pretty much move around without having to feel like that you have to sit still in order to do your videos. And then, of course, with the other microphone set and vlog set that you purchased, if you want to pull that up so everybody can see, if you have it in front of you. I don't know.
I don't. I have. Okay, so this is the portable one that Kimberly recommended, so that I can take this all around the house, and also when I travel, and I can still stay consistent with my videos and keep, addressing my audience and stuff. So this is great because it's got a light here that turns on. It's got a microphone here. It holds your phone here, and it's got a stand. And so it plugs into all the things, and you can just do your video.
Right. And the beauty about the piece that you have, and then the piece that I have, so I have both, but you can actually interchange the pieces. So, if you want to use the smaller light, and then the microphone, you can move it onto your other stand that you have. I like the stand on the O-ring better than I like the stand on the one that we have, the other one that we have, because the other one, the stand on the O-ring is much sturdier. Where we were talking before, the only thing with the stand on the other one, I can't think of the name of it now, but the other microphone stand and so forth, it's a little bit weaker. So when you start to put everything together, I found that it'll kind of tip over.
Yeah, this thing, you have to be careful because the tripod, like this is as far wide as it goes. Once you get your phone on here and everything plugged in, and this light is a little heavy, I try to keep it up so that it balances more, but yeah, it will definitely topple over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's having its moments, but the good thing, the thing I do love about this stand on the smaller tripod there is that you can actually squeeze that stand together and you can walk around and video tape yourself and other things around your area. So where with the O-ring, you can't do that. You can't pick it up, take it and move it around because it kind of defeats the purpose of what it's doing. So there's always, flexibility in both. But like I said, when you're traveling, if you don't want to take your O-ring stuff, you can absolutely take the other. So I have both because they both do work the way that they're supposed to work. But like I said, the parts are definitely interchangeable. So for those who are new and want to learn how to do a video and you're trying to figure out what equipment to buy, these are the two that we would highly recommend that you can use to do your videos. But like I said, my number one go-to is my O-ring. I love this product. Best thing they ever came out with. And for some people, this product's been out forever and we're just now discovering it. So
I bet that's exactly right. I bet so.
Yeah, because my son's like, well, you finally just got on the bandwagon, but this stuff has been out forever, so it's, it's like I said, it makes you look much more professional and things, look much better. Instead of you having to run around and turn on a bunch of lights in the house and all of this stuff. That's really the whole purpose of it. And then, your office, you can, make your office the way that you want and then have the O-ring all the time to be utilized, and people are constantly using their phones. And obviously when you're doing video on your phone, it definitely runs the battery down a little bit more, but it's okay. It really does. It works. It helps me from having to constantly be in my office when I'm trying to do my videos. But I can't wait though, because soon my office is going to be redone. So I can't wait to share that because that's going to be a new video coming out soon.
I can't wait to see that. I'm working on, creative small space living and getting, so I've got my little office nook, that I'm trying to work on and make it cozy and comfortable. But yeah, I know you were talking about doing videos on little areas that you're developing in your house with, what do you call it? Tell me what it is.
But the spaces?
Okay. Yeah, with the spaces. Yeah, just like incorporating that into your video series.
Because they're unique. Exactly. They're unique spaces in everybody's home, and we just have to find that space where you may want to do a video in. And what I'm learning is that, trying to use different parts even now, right here in my family room. You can kind of see in the background a portion of my kitchen. And I love sitting in that corner of my kitchen because I have a perfect table there. It's really just a 2-seater there where I can sit down and do some amazing videos there. The light is perfect there. The ambiance is perfect there. So that's one of my other go-tos. And of course, now, like I said, I'm learning to use more in the family room. So when I want to relax a little bit more and sit down and talk, and I'm doing these new movie reviews now too are coming out. So if I'm sitting here in the family room, I can do my reviews exactly during the time that I'm literally sitting down and watching that movie. So there are definitely portions of my house. I've got, like I said, my office is getting redone. So I'll be doing more videos there. Even every room in the house, I'll be doing other videos in my bedroom. I have a corner in my bedroom that I love where I have this amazing chair where I'll be starting to do videos there. So there's, you have to take a look at every space within your home because you never realize how important that little unique space may be to help you, get through what it is you're trying to portray. And of course, you know, when you're doing, you know, a wine series, or even when you're doing your wellness stuff, you know, being in the kitchen is always a great place to be, right? You know, so, you know, having it put together the way you want, or if you're in your dining area or wherever it is that you want to do, the key is making your own flavor and making sure that you're standing out the way you want to stand out.
Right. Yes. That's so much fun. That's what makes it way more fun. And then you're more confident in what you're doing when you can have it. Like I'm trying to create a little wine bistro area, because I have this high bar wine table that has slots for holding wine bottles and things underneath it. It's old. I've had it for a long time, but I just love it. It's such a unique antique looking piece. And I want to create a little bistro corner in this nook. So I'm working on that. So there will be another video coming.
Yeah, see, and that's the key. So, you know, when we talk about video fear as a whole, the fear really is not so much, we have to take the onus off of just us, you know, worrying about, like I said, what we look like and this and that, but realizing that the environment that you're in is what really helps you, you know, bring everything out, because it's your home. And, you know, my thing is, if you can't be comfortable in your own environment, then something ain't right. You know, people are always so busy trying to find ways to run away from their environment versus embracing what it is that they have. And, you know, I've even learned that, but, you know, I think a big part of it is that going through even the pandemic, you know, I heard people constantly complain, oh, I can't stand being at home and blah, 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 blah. I love every second of it. A big part of this for me is that because I am on the road so much, that, you know, home to me is the most comfortable thing in the world. And I want to be able to come home to a place that is my sanctuary. Yeah. And so you have to make that your sanctuary. So, you know, you're going to even see more of me even talking about things within my home that, you know, I love doing and I've put together to make it my sanctuary. So that's a big part about just videos as a whole.
Definitely. Now that I'm transitioning and this is like my space, my home, I can make it my own, and I don't have, you know, anything else that is making me feel unsafe or like I don't want to be here. And now this is the first time that I'm actually able to do that. So I'm trying to really, you know, I'm still unpacking. So I'm still, you know, I haven't gotten things up on the walls and all that stuff. So I'm excited to, you know, get there to that point and then just blossom from there.
Right, exactly. And you know, and it's funny because even though you're in the beginning stages of your journey of your new home, those are the best videos. You know,
like
sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're here's the emptiness and you're bringing that emptiness to life, you know. And I think that's, like I said, it's just all about learning who you are again and realizing what you have to provide and bring to the table. And what you're going to learn is, as these videos are put together and they come out and you know, the people are looking at them, we will really be able to see the connection that we have with everyday people. Because it's amazing how when you think about ourselves, and I know myself, I'll sit down and watch 2 or 3 videos a day of other people just because I love the topics that they're doing, or just watching what they're doing. It helps it motivates myself to continue to be me, you know. And I like to look at different levels where, you know, like I said, we have the ones like us where we're just everyday people, you know, trying to build our businesses or who we are as individuals. And then you have the ones who have that whole professional scene and background. It really depends on people's taste. Yeah. So, you know, if you, excuse me, if you're that individual who wants to, you know, look at all the professionalism, that's the only way you get the information you think that is out there, that's on you. That's great. But if you're that person who just loves just to hear what we're saying and showing you what we're saying and talking about whatever, and it's all authentic and fun, there's nobody sitting in the background helping me out, you know, give me everything prepared and ready to go. And hey, you know, you have the choice. Right. But as us as individuals, it's just what we make it. And, you know, people are either going to accept it or they're not.
That's right. That's the bottom line right there. They're going to accept it or they're not. And when they don't, we keep moving to the next.
Exactly. Because you're never going to get people who are going to give you, you know, a perfect critics. We're going to have our good and bad critics, right? So it's just truly just realizing that, you know, I always tell people, when you're criticizing all the time, it's because you wish you were me.
Yeah.
When you're looking at me that hard and you got that much negativity to say, then you wish you were doing what I was doing. There are some people who are doing things out there, excuse me, that are definitely inappropriate. And I wouldn't, you're going to criticize them. And those are the people who don't want to hear anything about it, but it's still your opinion, right?
Right.
What they're doing is what they're doing. It doesn't mean you have to do that. And so that's the key about videos. Once you put yourself out there, you're going to have people who are going to talk about you. And that's the reality of it, period.
That's true. That is true. Well, that is like, for me, the where all the fear comes how it's wrapped up inside of me and how it affects my progress, how it affects what I do and how I like view what I'm doing. So this conversation has really helped me sort of like narrow that and expand outside of it, because everything I am, everything, I have visions of doing, everything, all the goals I have are way bigger than those little fears, and the biggest thing that I've been learning about recently is like, I don't have time for it. I just need to get stuff done. I don't have time to be sitting here spending 2 hours trying to do one little 15-minute video,
Right. And that's the key. When you just let things just flow.
Yeah.
Girl, please. Like I said, you don't realize how much you have in you until you just start doing it.
Yes.
And that's the number one thing is that, you can't, it's not about contemplating, oh my God, I'm talking too long. I'm doing this. The key is that we all know that people's attention spans are very low. Yeah. So, when you're by yourself and you're doing videos, and if you got to sit there and talk to yourself for, 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour or two, whatever, there's a problem there. Okay. It's too much.
Yes.
It's like, if you're truly trying to convey something to someone, just say what you need to say. And see, that's where I'm good at. I don't have the patience to sit down and talk to you for 30, 40 minutes, unless it's something that I'm truly have put together and designed that I want you to hear, but when it comes to certain things, when we're doing our videos, get the information out quickly, still make it fun. But the bottom line is if I got to talk to you for more than 15 minutes and I'm by myself, I'm doing too much.
Yes. Too much. And it's time to either stop, go do something else for a minute and come back to it, or just power through it and get, like slay those fears, because they're not worth it. And really, what do you get there? Nothing good comes from it.
Exactly.
Nothing good comes from it.
Right. And then you just find yourself, just talking just to be talking, and then it becomes a mess. And then guess what? You revert back to the fear. Yeah. And you don't want to do that, your confidence.
And it shows in your whole demeanor. I've seen videos of myself where I'm just like, really just, I'm not there. I'm not in the headspace. I'm not confident, and I need to go do something else and then come back and do this. And there's been moments where I've like slayed it, like just done a video and I'm like, wow. And, like I do Zoom meetings a lot for my health and wellness business. And I can just talk to this person and share all the things I need to share. So the videos, I need to let it go. I need to let it go, because I can make the choice and the decision to say, not today.
Right.
Like people say, not today, Satan, not today.
Exactly. Like we always talk about every day, you'll hear somebody say, you choose how your day is going to be. Right. So you're choosing that moment as well. If you already start out with a negative mindset and saying all this videos is going to be crap, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, then of course, that's what you're going to, 90% of the time, that's what you're going to end up with is crap, because you already lost that perspective of who you are. Your positiveness is gone. You've taken away the value of who you think that you are when you started doing the video. So that is the key, to doing anything in life. If you speak into an existence, it is going to be there.
Positive or negative.
A positive or negative. Exactly. So, it's time, girl, you know what you're doing. You got this. Video fear is always going to be a fear, and it's okay. And I always say, if you ain't got them bubble guts in the beginning, then you know, I don't know how you're feeling at person. Because for me, and even when I do my podcasting, every time I talk to somebody, I get scared.
Yeah, and that's okay, because that just means that you care about what you're doing. And
exactly.
So a small amount of anxiety and stress is okay, because there's healthy stress and then there's negative stress, where it comes from your own negative self-talk and self-doubt and all of that stuff. So some of it is good, you know.
Exactly. And that is the key. So, you know, don't beat yourself up. Just remember that when you start to feel that itchiness, that, you know, under the arms, sweatiness, you know, sweating all over your face, girl, you get ready to pass out. You know, that's when you need to step back and like, wait a minute now, I can't be doing this. This is not how this is supposed to work. That's when you take that moment, you step back, and then you do the woosah, you know, relax a minute, and then go back and just do it.
Yeah.
And as we know, being when you're recorded, you can stop and start as many times as you want. But just remember that it's not about perfection. It's about sharing your story, telling your story, talking about your products, realizing the importance of what you're doing. That is the key. That makes it so much simpler to just get up and do it.
That's right.
All right.
You are so wise, Kimberly. So wise.
Hey, like they say, you know, it comes with a little bit of old age. So, you know.
Well, you know what? Fine wine ages. That's how it is. That's how it works.
All right. Absolutely.
Here's to you.
And here's to you. And here's to everybody else. Again, I hope y'all have enjoyed this episode of 360 and Me with Mimosas and Conversations on Video Fear. And we'll see you next time. Take care.